11 și încep. Bună ziua, bine ați venit!
Hello and welcome to the press conference of the Sibiu International Theatre Festival. It is a great joy for us to be able to organize such a press conference way ahead of the festival, as it's only natural, so that you, spectators, people who are the beneficiaries of everything that we have designed together throughout all these years, can enjoy the festival. We wanted to organize this conference earlier. As you know, we've had Orthodox and Catholic Easter, and so we thought it was better to respect everybody's faith. So here we are presenting our offer to all our spectators. Before anything else, you should know that we wanted to first address the press so that our colleagues can take this transmission from us. We have especially designed the sound and everything so that the recording is very good. If I'm not wrong, Aline, we have the Romanian streaming on Facebook and the English one on YouTube, right? Yes. So, in order for things to be very clear, I will repeat. For the national and the international press, YouTube is where you can listen to the English streaming, whereas on Facebook you can listen to the Romanian streaming. At the same time, those of you who will take over these streamings, well, these are free. You can all take them. We didn't want anybody improvising as intermediaries because we want the face of the festival to be as we have prepared it. Wonder. This is the theme of this year's festival. At 12 o'clock, sharp, we will launch all the material on the websites, and all spectators in both Romania and all over the world will have access to all the information about the performances that will be presented in this year's festival. This is happening for the first time, and we are happy that at our 30th edition we are able to gift you all these professionally, so that all spectators in Romania and abroad are able to access all the performances that we are going to present. Take a look at the schedule, at the program of the festival, and starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock, everybody will be able to buy tickets. I will come back to this throughout today's press conference. So, starting 12 o'clock sharp, everybody will have access to the websites, and later on I'm going to invite Vicențiu Rahău to talk about the websites and how you can access them via your phone. The 30th edition of the Sibiu International Theatre Festival. When we started in 1993, we aimed for this festival to become what it has become today. Back then, we didn't even dream about what's going to happen. And if you allow me, I'm going to read what I've written in the album published at the 10th anniversary of the festival. Here it is. After 10 years of festival, almost nothing that's been here in Sibiu has been lost. The eyes of the city looked down on the memories that were imprinted in walls and for images to be imprinted in people's souls. The spirit of the city has taken in the tears, the respiration of the artists, turning it into wonderful feelings. Look at stones and you're going to see masks. You're going to listen to parts of songs. All these come into the eyes of those who have seen the Sibiu International Theatre Festival. For all of them and for those who want to come to Sibiu, we are publishing this book of memories, I said back then, in which we have so many friends included that one must say, my God, we are so rich. By choosing these pictures from thousands of others that could have been included here, you find out that you're not alone when looking at all the colors. Whatever happens, that Sibiu is a blessed place of meetings, thanks to artists' passion. Looking at the dust that falls over everything, you realize that it also falls down on our faces. Yes, we were there 10 years ago. We had no idea what we were doing. We were full of courage. And I do firmly believe that we will be the same 10 years from now, I said back then, talking about us, those who are leaving things behind. Should this be history? It's been 10 years. Anyway, this is what I said back then. That's what I looked like back then, 20 years ago, and I am happy to have been able to read this message. Throughout the years, starting 1995, we have had various topics that described, or themes that described, the celebration of our communities for each of those years. Out of all the themes we had today, I would like to pick here in front of you the art of giving as a very iconic one, together with the power of building trust, passion, and love. Because at the end of a year, you should know I put together several themes that sounded very well. From love with passion, we are building trust to be able to gift it to you through the art of giving. The Sibiu Festival has always placed at its core and at the core of its objectives, man. In capital letters, of course. Because it was starting from the needs of man that we built what we've built. Man, people, best represent the community we are celebrating. A community that turns this festival into a community's festival. And I'm going to come back to this because our reason of being is the spectator. And this is something I truly believe in. I am a man who believes, I am a believer, and I take full responsibilities for this. So, people, spectators, they are our objective. Which is why all the tickets we put up for sale will be sold at last year's prices. Our costs have doubled. Some of them have tripled, and this isn't just empty words, but the objective of the Sibiu International Theatre Festival isn't making money, but rather bringing miracle to you. I've taken a look at the themes from the very beginning. We've always talked about quality, creation, beauty, dream, miracle, wonder. At all times. In the name of our connections with the personalities, the stories, the power of building beauty, we have tried to put the spectator at the core of our efforts, which is why the Sibiu International Theatre Festival is the only one festival in the world with a digital stage in a country that has not a lot of technical means. We have managed to come up with this online festival during the pandemic. Why? Thanks to the Walk of Fame in Sibiu. And this year, for everything that Sibiu means in the world, for the bridges we have built all around the world, we have requested from the 56 personalities captured on the Sibiu Walk of Fame to send us their message. 4 of them are no longer with us. So they are sending their good thoughts from above. And what we wish is, in the anniversary album celebrating this 30th edition, to include their thoughts, because when we began, believe me, I never imagined that I'd have this joy of meeting Peter Brook, for instance, that I'd become friends with Lev Dodin, or that Peter Stein or Klaus Maria Brandauer would come here in Sibiu. They would embrace me and tell me I am their younger or older brother, respectively. What we've done wasn't for my own ego, but to build bridges towards this city of Sibiu, which lives under a star. Let us go through this festival. It is only natural that at its 30th edition, the festival would be under the high patronage of the President of Romania. From the 90s, the festival enjoyed the patronage of the President of Romania. Then we've also had the patronage of a premier, of a prime minister, then of the now King of Great Britain, who was back then Prince Charles. We also had the high patronage of the President of Germany. We are happy that together we are taking this tradition on. As you know, the festival is organized by the Radu Stanca National Theatre in Sibiu, supported by the Sibiu City Hall and the Sibiu Local Council. This is our main funder, the Sibiu City Hall, that is. And I would like to highlight this because throughout the history of the festival, it was first and foremost supported by the City Hall. And based on this philosophy, that it is part of the community of Sibiu, it was only natural for the Sibiu City Hall to get involved more than any other institutions. A couple of months ago, I welcomed joyfully the first meeting with one of the structures subordinated to the city hall. The person in charge of parking lots and everything that's being built in Sibiu so that the people of Sibiu have a better life. What we wanted from that meeting was to ensure better conditions for everybody coming to Sibiu, by car, pedestrians and so on. And I saw they had interesting programs, and I congratulated the Mrs. Mayor because they decided for each structure in the City Hall to present themselves in front of their colleagues so that we knew of each other, knew what everybody did, and come up with ways to collaborate. That's when I found out that people could rent a bike. And what did we do? We designed a program, Sibiu Festival City Bike. They offered us a discount, not 10 lei per day, but 80 lei for 10 days. And I thought, look what dialogue brings. Of course, things weren't always rosy red, but we've had a lot of talks, negotiations, arguments even. But the most important thing is that every single time we managed to reach a solution. So anybody coming to Sibiu can rent a bike for 10 days, paying only 80 lei. And perhaps starting from 12 o'clock today until tomorrow at 12 o'clock, they might think, where am I going to go first? Well, to the press conference, let's say. From there, I'm going to cycle to I don't know which exhibition. And then from then, I will go to a workshop at a university. Cycling, of course. From there, I will cycle to the first performance at 4 o'clock p.m. at Fabrica de Cultură. And then I will quickly cycle back to Ion Besoiu Cultural Center to watch a complex performance. And from there, I'm going to cycle to the Habermann Markt or to the big square to see a big performance, outdoor performance. And then from there on, I'm going to go to a church to listen to a concert. Of course, there will be parking places for the bikes. 80 lei for the whole festival for a bike. At the same meeting, I thought, well, for so long we've been working with all the cultural structures in Sibiu. Even more than that, of course, with all the institutions subordinated to the city hall, to the local council, to the county council. And every single time we've tried to engage so that miracle, emotion, beauty reaches spectators as quickly as possible, as best as possible. Spectators coming from all around the world or local people from Sibiu, of course. So I thought, wouldn't it be a pity for us to have so many cultural institutions in Sibiu and not have a season from Sibiu? And I'm going to tell you what this refers to. Moving on now. The City Hall is the main funder, I said. This event is organized with the support of the government of Romania. I think this is the third or the fourth year that this has happened in the history of the festival. There's been a government decision through which the government of Romania undertakes to directly support the festival through the Sibiu City Hall. The Sibiu City Hall has already received 1.5 million because the truth is we didn't have enough money to cover our expenses. And we are still struggling, but of course, these are the internal fights that we are trying to get over. We also have a strategic partnership with the Ministry of Culture. The Ministry of Culture is giving us 4.5 million, the same amount as last year, and we are happy to have the Ministry of Culture as our strategic partner. And then let us not forget that the Ministry of Culture and the Romanian Cultural Institute have been the two institutions supporting us in terms of international programs. all the other national theaters are supported by the Ministry of Culture and are subordinate to the Ministry of Culture. The Radu Stanca National Theatre in Sibiu has found a way, thinking that it was important to be subordinate to the audience and to the community it belongs to. You cannot evaluate the Sibiu or the Iași or the Timișoara or Cluj national theaters if you are in Bucharest. And even if you do it, I'm not sure if you actually care about these theaters. Whereas the city supporting that theater cares about it, of course. The citizens of Sibiu care, and they know if they are content with their national theater or not, which is why we thought it was important to be subordinate to the Sibiu City Hall. Going back to what I said, the Ministry of Culture has supported us and our tour to Tokyo, to Chișinău. It's also been supporting us. So that at the end of April, the beginning of May, we are able to travel to Shanghai. We are the first theater in the country. Then we'll go to Budapest with the Scarlet Princess. And we're going to take Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf to Shanghai. We're also going to tour to Chișinău because it's important for us to build a bridge with that city as well. And I'm going to talk about our strategic connection with Moldova as well. We're trying to take Jocuri Vorbe Greier to Israel. We're going to celebrate the establishment of the State of Israel. We've had 75 years of diplomatic relations, and as a sign of respect for the connection we have with Israel, the President of Romania is going to grant 5 distinctions to 5 great Israeli artists, and the President of Israel is going to grant 5 such distinctions to 5 important Romanian artists.
We are all supported by the Ministry of Education, and in the festival we have also created the festival of the School of Theaters, of the Cultural Management schools, and I think this was one of the best initiatives we had, that of giving the chance to youth so that the young people may take up responsibilities for thinking about projects. Last year we had 14 schools participating, and this year we have 21 schools participating, some of the most important ones. It is very possible that 2 other schools may join us in our initiative. Unfortunately, we don't have much venue available. We are trying to set up all the available venues to host the programs, and we are supported for this festival and for the doctoral platform as well. This doctoral platform is probably one of the most successful actions that education across Romania, and believe me that I'm responsible for my words, that Romania has ever achieved, to have 42 universities worldwide, out of which 31 are in the top 300 of the world, considering that none of the Romanian universities are among the first 1,000 ones. You will say, well, this is not true. Babeș-Bolyai University is among the top 600 universities, but this is not true. Only 2 or 3 departments of these universities are in this ranking, just as 2 or 3 departments of the University of Sibiu are very well ranked, but our universities are not among the first 1,000 of the world. But when you have 31 universities who come to Sibiu, through great personalities. I believe this is the best demonstration of the fact that the educated Romania has had this spearhead that has been and must be exploited. So the two programs are supported by the Ministry of Education, and we have had a successful collaboration with the Ministry of National Defense for everything that means subscriptions for NATO soldiers. We started the program 7 years ago in collaboration with the Academy of Land Forces. We are continuing it with live shows, and last year we gave 1,000 subscriptions, and hopefully following our negotiations we'll be able to offer 3,000 subscriptions. We have a partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs because there will be many celebrations. We have someone here representing the External Affairs Ministry. We are happy to see you here because we are celebrating 30 years of Francophony. And if I look here, I didn't mean to talk about the different seasons now because we'll be talking about this on the 10th of May. But during the Francophone season, I believe that we have 6 performances coming from Belgium, 3 from Canada, 11, 18, and 21 performances from France, 2 performances from Luxembourg, 3 or 4 from Switzerland, no, even more, 6 shows from Switzerland, and from Romania we have 25 and another 15, 14, so more than 100 shows. We are really celebrating 30 years of Francophony, and it is important that what we do is not simply checking a box. What we mean is to build bridges. We want to have here as a guest the mayor of the city of Rennes. We haven't achieved very many exchanges with Rennes. We did it with Ille-et-Vilaine region in France. We are happy to be receiving famous names of France. Alexis Michalis, the Théâtre de la Ville, represented by my younger brother Emmanuel de Massimota, and we will be setting up a really special show, the UNESCO suite. The festival as a whole is dedicated to George Banu because there are very few countries in the world who have had the honor of having a personality such as George Banu. He is irreplaceable, and this is why we are not even trying to replace him. We are organizing a dedicated section for this purpose. We'll also have a dedicated partnership with the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Tourism because we're trying to continue developing the program of digital subscriptions all over Romania in hotels, and we hope the program will be successful. Of course, there is a partnership with the Lucian Blaga University of Sibiu. It is the largest university. We have created a school of theater, a school of cultural management, a school of choreography. We have built a platform. We are carrying out these 2 projects with the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Lucian Blaga University and the ATF. We also have UNITER, the professional association that supports us. Among the co-organizers, the Romanian Cultural Institute, and in all this scheme, it was just natural and it couldn't be otherwise. We co-opted as a partner our county council, and I want to thank the president of the council because thanks to our collaboration with her and with the county council, we can have all the institutions that are subordinated to the county council in this Sibiu season, and we can have a dialogue in such a way so that all of us can bring this added value. As co-producers, the Romanian Television Society and the Romanian Radio Broadcasting Society, we greet their representatives. Of course, that we greet all the press of Sibiu. And each time we talked to all our colleagues. The press area must not only be respected, but we need to find that friendship formula if we do not have the possibility to be or to have them even involved. Because everything that we do is meant to spread the message. And I rejoiced when at some point I received that proposal of building a project together with Ager Press. I offer this example because it is an example that is positive and that builds. There are very many embassies and institutes with whom we have strategic partnerships. I mean by that the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, the Goethe Institute, and during the two future press conferences on the 10th of May and on the 8th of June, we will be referring specifically to what these seasons mean, what the cooperation with each embassy means. We will have, and we will do it in the large hall next time, because we'll have messages from many representatives of the Prime Minister, of the ministries. I have talked about the message of the President of the Romanian Cultural Institute, the message of the mayor, and at least 10 or 12 ambassadors. Because we have these strategic relationships which are a privilege and which rejoice us so much. Across time, the festival gave birth from its earliest editions, the volunteership program, and it is probably one of the most important projects that has been carried out in Romania. Once again, I truly believe in what I am saying. Last year, there is this thing that happened and that is worth telling about. Together with Yaroslava Babenchuk, who is the Vice President of State University of New York, and with whom I co-produced the Idiot, she comes from Ukraine, and first of all, we had the show in Kiev. The play was sustained in Russian, and then we had one of the most beautiful shows of the National Theatre, which survived for quite a long time. And my great friend Virgil Flondra, who gave the name of the hall in the university and of the award given by the university. Last year, we had the meeting of those who received a Fulbright scholarship, a governmental program supported by the US government, through which teachers from America can come benefiting from a scholarship either in Romania, either in other parts of the world, in order to build partnerships and programs. The meeting of those who benefited from these scholarships took place in Brasov, and Yaroslava attended the meeting because she had also benefited from this Fulbright program, and she asked me, Constantin, please give me a video of the festival so that I can display it. And I asked Mr. Condurache, with whom we work for the digital stage, and she presented this video. After the video was presented, the reaction was enormous. There were applause, there were screams, there were tears. And Yaroslava said,
Yaroslava said, "This is so surprising. I'm so happy to hear that you know about this festival." And suddenly, out of the 21 people in the room, she realized that 17 were professors coming from Romania.
and who are American professors and who, over the time, they had volunteered in the Sibiu International Theatre Festival. My dearest, out of 21 American professors, 17 had been volunteers in our festival. We are so proud that we are able to build these bridges, that we have managed to persuade Coca-Cola from Japan to pay for the tickets of all the volunteers attending the festival. As you see, all these are stories that happen, and we think about the topic of the future festival next year, because in Japan there is this professor who is in love with the not theater, and also Costina, professor, and who is also a CEO of Coca-Cola Japan, and whom we have persuaded, not just because he's Romanian, but because Mr. Rando, who has the signature rights on everything that means amounts, so that when he heard that in Sibiu, Kanzamura Kobura has a star, that Mr. Kushido has a star, that Mr. Noda has a star awarded on the Walk of Fame, well, he said, nowhere else in the world we have such a visibility. And this is how we managed to bring the Japanese volunteers here at our festival. We are happy that currently we can make a partnership, which is important, with a new cluster in the world of IT. We already have 24 companies. We had a meeting with them so that volunteers may be involved in everything that means the future that we all want to be a better one with the use of technology. In 1998, we had a play read in partnership with the radiophonic theater. We had a collaboration with Valentin Silvestru. Many of you know who the greatest critic of the communist period was, and one of the initiators of most festivals in Romania. Also, with one of the greatest poets and translators Romania has ever had, Mircea Ivanescu, who was in Sibiu and who came here to remain here forever. This person talked 28 languages and he was able to read 5 or 6 books a day. My dearest, he could walk on the street and he had this visual reading ability. If I look at you or at your other colleagues, because of the way we have been trained, we know how to read line by line, while he was able to read through an image that he built. In collaboration with him and with another professor from the Virginia University in the United States, we were able to set up this read place in order to promote the new wave of playwrights. And Claudia, can you please tell me how many authors we have promoted, how many plays? 179 authors and 190 plays. Well, I don't think anywhere else in the world there is someone who has produced so much joy. Do you remember those large books as bricks that we have printed in several languages? We have partnerships with the largest structures, from the royal court to the playwright from Canada, La Cartoucherie, and so on. We are at the center of the world thanks to this structure. Starting from 1996, we had this section, the meeting of schools and theater academies, that has become since 2017, because I kind of pressed this matter, an autonomous festival that is completely managed by the university teachers and students. In 1997, we created the theatrical art department at our university, and in the same year, we created the first performance art market. We will talk about it on the 10th of May. It will be a new format. We will have a new board, and we want that the extraordinary results we have achieved over time may be more visible. In 2000, we succeeded for the first time to have a section in the Onisifor Ghibu High School, a section dedicated to theater. And in 2007, you haven't mentioned here, in 2004, we transformed the Sibiu theater into a national theater thanks to the government's order, but this theater is subordinated to our local authorities. In 2007, we have Sibiu as a European capital of culture. And on the 2nd of November, 1994, in the Tribuna magazine, I appeared there with a photo, and there was a title, Constantin Chiriac wants Sibiu to become a cultural capital of Europe. And this is when the whole adventure started. And in 2000, this is where I managed to create this initiative board where I co-opted representatives of the government of Romania and of the Romanian television, and all those other steps followed.
I remember that in 2004, Răzvan Teodorescu, the then Minister of Culture, who has passed, unfortunately, a great personality, he had read a lot. I supported him in drafting the argument so that nobody would be against. I'm referring to the countries that would join the European Union in 2004 and who didn't have a right to have a European Capital of Culture. But when I was in front of the jury there, well, I found motivation and reasons to convince them by saying, we have an independent festival that is showing that we have the capacity to support such an event. Why wouldn't Sibiu have this opportunity? And I convinced them this would be a dangerous precedent. And so for each country that would join the EU after that, we thought about a strategic partnership. And at the 2004 reunion in Paris, in the first day of the festival, I got a call from Paris. Christian Stanca was in my office. I was talking on another phone. You can imagine the madhouse that we were at in the first day of the festival. And Mr. Stanca said, it's the minister. And so I said, yes, please. And then he went, dear Constantin, you should know I haven't even called the prime minister. You are the first one to find out that all the ministers have approved your candidacy. This in a strong French accent. And the second day he came to Sibiu, straight from Paris. I remember it as if it was yesterday. I was informed that the minister was here. I said, please tell him to come to my office. He wouldn't come. And then at some point I opened my door and said, what's going on? And they said he went to the loo. And from the loo, he came out with a hat in his hand. Lady had used the loo before that, and he came to my office wearing a lady's hat. So, the European Capital of Culture. Moving on now. 2010. We had a Cities on Stage, a great European project, a type of a Champions League of European theaters. We had the Paris Odeon, the Avignon Festival, Schaubühne from Berlin, Nordske Theater, the Young Vic, and then one of the most important Italian theaters. So basically a Champions League of European theaters as partners in that European project. And of course we had the Brussels National Theatre, which was the project leader, and of course us, the National Theatre in Sibiu. And there was a suggestion that each structure comes up with a formula to express their visibility in their community. And I said, well, dears, Sibiu is the best example of a city on a stage, a ville on scène. Yes, but come up with a concrete idea of an action. And I talked to my friend Dan Perzhovsky, asking him to do something on the walls of the festival club. And he said, sure, of course. So the first edition of the vertical newspaper was inside, in the inner wall. And I said, that's not okay. Let's take it to the outside. I said, no, people will draw over it. He said, no, they won't. So from 2010, 13 years, we've had Perzhovsky's vertical newspaper. 2013, we've launched the Sibiu Walk of Fame. Such a joy to have such a partnership. People from Bob Wilson. Alex Ciucă and Ruxandra Predescu are here in this room. They have been our collaborators for the festival's image, not only here in Sibiu, but in Bucharest and throughout the world. We will try to present a message every day. I have asked all those who have a star on the Sibiu Walk of Fame to send us their thought, one confession about the festival in Sibiu. And we have incredible messages that we've received. We've also had, since 2015, the International Doctoral Platform. Since 2016, the Sibiu Factory of Culture, Fabrica de Cultură. But you should know, this space, Fabrica de Cultură, has had several places where it's been hosted. At Mecanica, where we had the first Faust. Then 2 years later, we moved to Balanța, another former factory. Because unfortunately, they said they would build a shopping mall, which, as you know, was finished 15 years later. We had plants growing, and above a cloud of applause. And then we moved a bit further, where we faced a fire. And then since 2016, we have been functioning in the current Factory of Culture, which hopefully we will see bought to be able to have it in this form forever. In 2006, when Faust was created, we started from a European project, Goethe in Transylvania, which was designed in 7 churches, and we went looking for structures to work alongside. And we asked the European Commission to support us, because unfortunately this project was too big and couldn't fit in a church. And Silviu Purcărete had a dream when he created the Danaids in Craiova in 1994. His dream was to host this performance in a factory. So we fulfilled his dream by having Faust in the former Mecanica factory. Then 2017, the Universities Convention, 2018, Terme Forum, 2020, the Visual Arts Platform and the Digital Stage, and then 2022, the Inheritance and Living Statues. This year, we are adding the season dedicated to Sibiu and the special section dedicated to George Banu. We will try to present many of the TV shows and of the radio shows that he did. We're going to try and present as many books that he has written and printed alongside us or other publishers. We're going to try to produce, to have some books together with publishers. We'll have a lot of surprises, a performance alongside the Teatru de la Ville and an important theater from Florence, as well as the Radu Stanca National Theatre, of course. And Sibiu will host the premiere of this production. You should know that Marie-France Ionesco has accepted to come to Sibiu. This is a true wonder. Let us now talk about the season dedicated to Sibiu. What we aim is for each structure in Sibiu to have a dedicated day. The Philharmonic of Sibiu, the Astra Museum Complex, the Sibiu County Library. Of course, there are many places where we'll have performances every single day, as it happens with the library or with the Brukenthal National Museum. Then we have the Gong Theater for Children and Youth. They are going to create a special performance. Then the Cintralul Sibiului Folk Ensemble, the Ballet Theater and the Casa de Cultura of the Sibiu Municipality will also be represented. The Land Forces Academy, the Transylvania Magazine, our school, part of our university. So we are trying to give a stage to all the structures in Sibiu. You will all be able to access the program and enjoy our offer, our cultural offer. Thanks to a great friend, the ambassador of Switzerland, Arthur Marly, I was invited to an organ concert in December. It was hosted by the Evangelical Cathedral, the biggest building in Sibiu, the tallest building in Sibiu, an iconic building. It was so smartly and so beautifully restored. Congratulations to the whole team. And I realized a truly wonderful thing. Did you know that cathedral includes 7 working organs? The festival's opening concert will take place there and will include all the 7 organs. It was the initiative of this great Romanian, the ambassador of Switzerland. He showed me that the church had 7 organs, and I said, Arthur, Your Excellency, may I pick up on this idea? Yes, of course, Constantin. And then he said, I'm going to give you a surprise. What surprise? I know somebody from Romania, a boy, he's a student in New York, the new Paganini. You should see and hear him sing. And I listened to him in Bucharest. You cannot imagine the great collaboration we have with this man. See how bridges are built? And this is what we aim for at all times. We are happy to be able to do this. We are also taking on last year's initiative related to environmental protection. So once again, we're going to have at the opening and at the closing ceremonies of the festival drone shows, not fireworks displays. I think we have learned from last year's experience, and you're going to see this show grow. For the first and for the second performances, we're going to play specially created music. You see wonderful pictures displayed. We are going to use the lasers much better, and we're also going to improve the sound of these shows. And we've been working on this from due time so that the joy is multiplied. Isa, how many people did you say were there? over 100,000. So I think those 2 days, the opening and the closings of the festival, will be truly special. Questions at the end, please. We have so many highlights. On the 12th of May, we're going to have a special conference in Vienna. Because from Austria, we're going to bring Burgtheater, the only theater in the world that is inscribed in a constitution. They are celebrating their 275th anniversary, and the theater of Sibiu on the 1st of June is celebrating its 40th anniversary. So we gave them a call and told them, well, we have problems with Schengen. It's crazy what's going on. Through what we're doing, and what we've been doing for 235 years, because Sibiu has followed the model of Vienna, well, we cannot rely on the positive or the negative, the better or the worse decisions of passing politicians. So Burgtheater will bring Dorian Gray, one of the best directors, Bastian Kraft, and Simon Myers, one of the greatest Austrian and one of the world's greatest choreographers, with a performance, of course, Sons of Sissi. We're also going to bring one of the most important schools of Europe, the School of Vienna. I called Klaus Maria Brandauer, and he sent me his picture from the cover of News, of Austrian News. And this cover spells out, "We need wonder." Yesterday, I wrote to him asking him whether we could use his picture and his words, "We need wonder." So we want all these people, together with Mr. Ambassador Hurezeanu, who is from Sibiu, to organize a conference about equal partnership with the biggest structures of Austria, not mentioning Schengen at all. We're talking about great European dialogue with all the TV stations, not only from Austria, but from Europe involved. Everything related to press. From there, we're going to go to the Theatre Olympics in Budapest, so that we can show the importance of our efforts in a European context. So many extraordinary names. Schaubühne, not the end of the world, with Katie Mitchell, one of the greatest artists of all times. She's going to come to Sibiu with a performance performed at Fabrica de Cultură, Eugenio Barba Hall. That performance is going to use up energy produced by actors who are going to be cycling in that hall. So many incredible names. I was talking about Théâtre de la Ville. As I was saying, we're going to have Emmanuel de Marcy-Motin for 24 hours. A very special performance then. The Teatrul Național of Bretagne with The Imaginary Invalid. Then The Art of Storytelling with Alex Mihaly. For the first time from Great Britain, we're going to have one of the most relevant names of dance coming to Sibiu. Is especially then we're going to have Vertigo Dance Company celebrating their 30th anniversary, like the festival. They have created a special performance for us. Mr. Kushida, then, a legend of Japanese theater who has a star on the Sibiu Walk of Fame, has created a performance, a Faust, which is dedicated to the Faust in Sibiu, in kabuki style, of course. Yamamoto no, then another company from Japan, has created another Faust, a no performance this time, for Sibiu. So many surprises, you can't even imagine. Is it 12 o'clock? Vicencio, please join me and tell people what's going to happen with the website, because now at 12 o'clock we're going to launch the website.
Good afternoon. Yes, it's 12 o'clock and the schedule of the performances is now available. We have over 330 performances, indoor, outdoor and online last year. During the FITS festival and after the festival, on our website we had over 100,000 visitors, 80% of them accessing it from mobile devices. This is why we took into consideration facilitating access to the program, and yes, you have to make your choices to choose out of 350 shows every day. Please allow me to make an interruption. We'll have approximately 800 events, and as every time the numbers are enormous. And if we consider the number of performances we had last year, the increase is obvious this year. Yes, I said 350 because there are very many performances, and in order for the audience to be able to access as easily as possible the program, this year we created two possible filters. You can choose the date of the performance or the category of the performance. If you use the category filter, you can see also the number of times a certain show is played. We also have the possibility to select. If, for instance, I am only interested in indoor performances, I will only select the indoor program or the outdoor program or the online programs or the free of charge performances, so that everybody can decide by tomorrow how they will plan their program. Not necessarily by tomorrow, we give them a day to think about. We know that during the first day we have the highest number of tickets being purchased. And they will also be able to do that using their mobile phones. Yes, because we have more than 80% of the visitors, they are using their mobile phones to purchase the tickets, and the average of the online performances the visitors use their mobile phones to watch these online shows. For direct live shows or for registered performances, and we'll have more performances than last year, also online. Thank you so much, Vincenzo. And now I would like to greet the initiative of the promotion team, which came up with a proposal for everything that means spectator, be part of the wonder. This is a hashtag, part of the wonder. And we'll make this proposal because last year it functioned very well. The volunteer program on TikTok worked very well, and it was also born from a similar initiative. This is why all those who want to join us can do it. We also want to mention again the fact that the most expensive ticket is 150 lei, just as last year and just as in 2021 and just as in 2019. This has not happened before. There is no other festival in the world that has kept the same prices as in the previous years, and the minimum price of a ticket is of 30 lei. In churches, where we wanted people to meditate, we also kept the price of last year, 30 and 40 lei. For all the prices, we have discounts for certain categories that deserve our respect. I believe this is the greatest gift possible, and I hear in front of me, and I see Dan Barta there. He's the person in charge with outdoor performances. We have exceptional companies. In the 2 weekends, as usually, we will have concerts every evening. Last year, we had an exceptional experience with the Anno Theater, that enormous joy because of the lights we saw in the main square. It was an extraordinary, very emotional show. Well, thanks to the friendship that has been born between us, the Anno Theater will be back again with a new creation, and we will see them in the main square from the 27th of June until the 29th of June, but I also believe that maybe on Monday, yes, on Monday there will be a rehearsal, so practically there will be 4 days during which, and please mark my words, it is not the same performance as last year, it is a new creation, but based on lights again. And it is all dedicated to wonder and the miracles of light. Dan, do you want to mention some of the highlights of this year's edition? Because the largest number of spectators will actually be attending the outdoor performances. And because giving relies on financial funding, we believe it is extraordinary to be able to offer this. He is one of the few persons who has been at my side since the beginning of the festival. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a real honor to be part of the team from the very beginning of the festival. Maybe we'll talk about this on another occasion, how it looked at the students' culture house. Well, I will be very brief. I suppose it's already late. I will go quickly through the events. We will open the outdoor performances on Bălcescu pedestrian street with the participation of the Land Forces Academy. We will have Babylon Circus from Italy, Israel within the Israeli season, the French company Paris Banares with a horse parade, and Perfect Technique, horse prototype in real size. We also have the Cosmești fanfare, who will be crossing the walkable street. We have Coquelicot balloons and Balasha band, a French-Romanian combination, a special show with huge creatures based on balloons. It will enchant children, but not only. The Mask Theater will be back again with a special edition for this year in the second part of the festival, because in the first part we will have the Festival of Statues. We'll continue the Heritage Project with all the theater schools of Romania. In the main square, we'll have an explosion of French campaigns. We have Gracielle, Company of, Long Debout. And as I was saying earlier, Coquelicot Balloon, with very impressive performances. And in the first weekend, we'll have a crane of 130 tons set up in the main square. Company of will come here with a special show, using electronic music, live mixed by a DJ. We'll have this show in the main square, another giant character in the second part of the weekend, 8-meter high. Maybe you have seen it on the screens. He will walk on Nicolae Băsescu Street and will also close the show. It is a miracle of childhood that is brought in front of our eyes. The concerts, there will be 3 and 3 in the 2 weekends, Judas Armonica and very many well-known singers of Romania, Andrei Tudor Band, led by Miron, Alternasfera, a folk music show. On the Friday of the 30th of June, Lagodi, a group of Ukraine and Voltage will be closing the concert section. In the small square, there will be a combination between an installation made of recycled materials dedicated to children, and in the second part of the festival we'll have 3 shows, each of them performed 2 times. I would like to mention Les Quatre Fers. There are French artists involved in this project, and in Haberman Square we will have performances mainly coming from contemporary circus area, but not only. You will be able to see flamenco, an Israeli production as well. We'll be bringing Israeli dancing here. You know how appreciated it is on the international stage, so it will be free of charge for access for everyone. In the Haberman Square, and as a premiere, an association, Castrum Novis, will be crossing the Nicolae Băsescu Street, and they will end up in the weekend in the Tineretului Park with a 2-hour performance. Also on the Citadel's Alley, we will have the Heritage Project. A very specific one, Adrian Wallstein. I'm not sure if you remember it, with Grimm at that time, and now he's back again on the outdoor stage. It is a very special itinerant performance that will be visible on different streets of Sibiu, even in front of the synagogue, and we will also be present in the county with the support of the county council. We will be able to have performances in Săliște, Gura Râului and Biertan, and in Cisnădioara, in the church of that place, we'll have an organ concert at the Evangelical Church. Thank you, Dan, very much. I want to remind you that we'll have a few important premieres in the world of theater. On the 4th and the 5th of May, we'll have Peter Hanke, an author who has been granted with the Nobel Award for The Hour We Knew Nothing About Each Other, an extraordinary headline that we want to rethink, because this is what the festival is about. We have tried to find bridges so that we may find out about each other. It is a non-verbal show that we are presenting for the first time on the 4th and the 5th of May, and believe us, it will be a true revelation. We'll also be having a special performance which is possible thanks to a collaboration with the Theatre of Bucharest. It will happen in Cisnădioara on a special construction which will remain throughout all the summer up to the autumn during the theatre season, and will be present in the fortified citadels of Sibiu and of the counties of Brașov and Mureș, so that we are able to bring forward and spread the atmosphere of the festival. There will be so many projects, and we'll talk about all this and about all the seasons on the 10th of May and on the 8th of June. There are so many personalities. For 20 years, I have been trying to breed Alicia Adams, the manager of the Kennedy Center of of Washington, and finally she will be here. We'll also have here Anthony Serge. He has never been here in Sibiu. Maria Pares will be here. Flamenco artists will be here. Dear all, please access our website, inform yourselves. Dear team, try to present every day something about the festival so that everybody can understand that everything that we do is something unique and is really a wonder. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now.